Hello, boys.
Hello.
Hello, boy.
Hello, boy.
I I think we're here to watch a movie tonight.
We are. That's right. We're continuing our awesome connecting threads, and Wilson has a pick for us.
We watched Detroit Rock City last time,
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
and that
The great
to me has
BBC
always
poo.
been like not even a road trip movie, but just like a group movie, you know?
Yeah. Yep.
Just a little group of characters that we follow around. This
Hell
is
yeah.
also kind of like about a group of characters, except it's not a group. It's a duo. It's only two.
The Cheech and Chong.
No. They're called
No.
Dumb and Dumberer.
Oh shit. The fucking
Because,
the prequel?
yes.
When Harry met Lloyd, right?
When
Fucking-
Harry met Lloyd.
With the great Bob Saget, R.I.P.
Yeah, actually. Posthumous rip.
Fucking
Rip
scene
Philadelphia.
stealer in this one.
For sure. For sure. But this is like obviously bad, but it's definitely one of those movies so bad it's good. Because there's a lot of like good people in this, and there's a lot of like little moments. It's kind of like Master of Disguise, except Master of Disguise I feel like has a lot more of like there's a weird undertone or like a soulless kind of aftertaste in your mouth. And this is like, yeah, they knew that they were making a sequel / prequel to a movie that really needs no follow-up at all. But they were damn if they weren't trying, you know?
Yeah.
Right. It's funny.
I don't know.
The
It's fun. It's a good guilty pleasure movie for me.
dude who played Lloyd, he's like, I don't know if he still is, but he was on like one of those NCIS shows for like a really long time.
He was like the lead male character in the fucking Thing prequel movie.
Oh
So
yeah,
that's 2 prequel movies that he's played a prominent role in.
Wow.
Interesting.
I think he was in a couple other like teenage high school movies, whatever they were.
Yeah.
Just to say, if anybody wants to watch along or just watch the movie, they can find it on HBO Max. So, is that enough said about the movie?
Well,
Everybody-
have either of you ever seen this before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I watched it with you for the first time.
Not for a while, though.
Okay.
It's been a while.
Because it was the similar thing where you're like, you had, yawned, where you had enjoyed it, and you're like, we'll go watch this. I was like, okay.
I think I randomly got this for like a Christmas from an extended family member who hadn't seen me in a few years and just knew that I was into like comedy in general.
Okay.
Right.
So they picked something that was a relatively safe bet and inoffensive.
Sure. Okay.
Because I have more of an experience with this movie than I do the original. As a kid, I only watched the original like maybe a handful of times.
Huh.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
when did this come out? Do you remember?
Oh my gosh.
2005.
2005, I want to say.
Let me see. Oh, I'm on it.
Okay.
This is definitely a movie that when you're watching it, you can tell that there was like
2003.
Whoa.
there was a lot left on the cutting room floor, or they had to like a lot of this came together in the edit, I think.
Sure. Yeah, I could see that.
There's some weird continuity stuff, and like
They
you
do
can just tell that it's a separate take.
They do try to tie it into the first movie, right? Like stuff that's talked about in the first movie. They kind of, I remember there's a plot point in the first movie where they
Was there?
talked. Yeah, about that girl that they both dated or something, and then I forgot.
I'm not familiar enough with the original movie to say. Well,
They were twins.
I don't-
The payoff in this movie is that they're twins. The girls that they were dating or something like that. I think, from what I remember.
There's nothing like that in this movie.
Oh, okay.
I don't think there's anything that tries to directly tie it to the next one. I think it's literally just like, here are these two characters previously in their life before this point.
Yeah, I didn't think even the first one built up that much lore.
Maybe it'll come up. What I'm thinking of then.
Maybe we'll peel back the layers of this onion and find the deep lore, the Dumb and Dumber iceberg that's out there.
All right, so with that intro, let's get
Number
to watching.
24, Lloyd Christmas.
You guys ready to start this flick?
I was fucking
This character
born
is
ready,
played
dude.
by veteran actor Jim Carrey.
Kim Jerry.
Is it loud enough?
Yeah.
Cool.
Come out wherever you are.
Maybe.
Where is that little joker?
It starts early.
Breathe deep, Mrs. Dunn. That's it. That's it.
Like it's the easiest jokes.
Push. That's
Hell
it.
yeah, dude.
Keep pushing. You're doing great, Mrs. Dunn. You're doing great. Okay, that's it. There's the head. I can see it now. Okay. Congratulations. It's okay, went back in.
Yeah.
And now, our feature presentation.
What happened when they were in her pussy? Oh.
You want me to say shit or poo? Oh my God!
No.
Oopsie daisy.
Wait. Yours is warm.
Jeez.
All right, well, there it is. The
Okay.
Harry met Lloyd. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tea muffin.
Oh boy. Keep this going without any music. So what'd you guys think?
Yeah. I had fun.
He's pretty good.
Yeah.
There's some chuckles every now and then.
Yeah, there's
Kinda
some
like-
chuckles.
yeah.
There's some...
It's kind of like Love Guru, or reminded me of Love Guru.
They did.
Actually, yeah.
It. They do passable. Impressions of the two. You know,
Yeah.
there's.
Good enough.
Hold up, Matthew W. Bungle.
Yep, I saw it too. Special.
Matty Bungle, dude. Yeah, like, you know, there's certain ticks and stuff that they got down pretty good of theirs, you know.
I mean, one is
Hank
just
Van Appledorn.
trying to be Jim Carrey, and the other one is
Yeah.
just Harry.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, like, certain facial things they did that were pretty,
Yeah, for sure.
you know.
It's not like, I don't know. I feel like
I'm not saying they're
Jeff
great.
Daniels-
I'm just saying they
I
did
love
a passable
Jeff Daniels. I just feel like
Yeah.
he didn't really do a whole lot that was like nobody else couldn't have done.
Right.
But it's easy enough to see these guys kind of fulfilling those roles.
Yeah.
And it's not like it's a movie of consequence. It's literally just about how these meet. Like
Yeah.
the like rest of the story around it is almost ancillary. It
Oh,
just
Laurie
happens.
Yeah.
Cartwright. Look at that.
Oh, wow.
Oh, Wilson, no wonder you like it.
Laurie.
You're relative. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you had like you know, I don't know.
Something can be said about the fact that they
Getty Images.
decided to go down the special needs route, because in the first one
Yeah,
that was
that's
never
true.
Yeah.
like an argument. Like they were just
They
simple
were just like,
and they were clueless.
well, they
kind
were
of.
just kind of clueless. They weren't like by any
Well, and-
means special needs. They just
Technically,
We're kind of-
they weren't in here either. You know what I mean?
But
technically.
the plot revolved around that
Yeah,
idea.
yeah,
But I feel like there was a lot more of a direct portrayal of these people are straight up stupid and not just like kind of socially inept in a way.
Sure.
Yeah.
Where they would literally say stuff like, "Oh yeah, A. Slushy, Albert Slushy, the third president of the United States, and he's named after the frozen drink." Like the direct statement of like wrong facts.
Right.
Yeah, the George Washington invented the money,
Invented money, yeah.
It didn't, at least in the first movie from what I remember, it didn't seem like they were trying to portray them as directly as just being like straight up stupid in that way.
Well, I mean,
but it's fine. It's not like it's a big deal.
There's the Samsonite briefcase that has the money in it, and so they think Mary's last name is Samsonite,
But that's
stuff like that.
That's kind of just like, yeah.
So yeah,
it's a little.
Oh, go ahead.
It just feels a little bit different.
Yeah.
Towards the end,
I get it.
The part I was thinking about, the twins that come up in the car. They were the Felcher sisters or something like that, and in the first one, they had a discussion in a hot tub about, "What's the matter, Lloyd? Some little filly break your heart?" "No, she dumped me," or like there's a little exchange, and like that small little scene was tied into this movie, and they turned out to be twins, and they thought they were dating the same twin, I guess.
What? But they left then. They didn't actually date them.
I don't think that
no,
twin
in
scene at the
in
end
the
was
original
supposed to
in
be...
the original, they were talking about and it's uncovered in this film that they were twins. So it's like, oh, okay, it's a throwback joke, but there's more to uncover. Like the lore got deeper because of the twin aspect of it.
But they never actually dated those girls.
I don't think they were trying to do anything to connect it with that ending twin scene. I think that was literally just like, because isn't there a scene at the end of the first movie where like an entire bus full of women pulls up or something?
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Oh, no, thank you." It's just supposed to be the same scene of like, oh, beautiful women approach these guys and they turn them down. When it should be like, it's portrayed as like, oh, it's clearly like an easy shot for these two men to get like some kind of activity romantically with these women.
Mm.
I don't know. I don't think they put enough thought into it farther than like things like the tag and the chipped tooth. I think they basically were just like, let's just do these characters more. And it doesn't matter the scenario. Like, what do we know about the first? What do we know that they do in the first movie? We'll just have them do that.
Right.
Well, they fight over the same.
The plot line is pretty. Yep, it's pretty similar. Same love interest. There's some
they
like locked in a case, and
they both get interested in the same woman who like somehow just happens to tie them into some sort of criminal activity.
Yeah, they accidentally uncover and help get the criminal arrested.
Which really like.
And then in the end, the girl has a boyfriend already.
Yeah, she's already taken and was never really interested in either.
Who's 35?
Yep.
Because the first movie, like, even that crime element really never needed to be there.
Right.
I guess it's like good to have some sort of element of danger. Because doesn't somebody hold somebody at gunpoint in Dumb and Dumber?
Yeah.
Yeah. He shoots Lloyd or Harry.
Yeah, I mean,
he's got a bulletproof vest on.
What if he shot you in the face? That was a risk we're willing to take.
It's just a good way to like build tension in the third act, like to have guns involved, to have crime. You know, you've got a love element so that already like ratchets up some stuff in your movie, and then you've got some action at the end. And
those are as good as money, sir. Those are IOUs.
The thing too, it's like with comedies, it's always tough to make sequels to comedies because a lot of the reason they work is because the sequence of events, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why a lot of comedy sequels you see end up just being retreads of the first movie. because, that's what works.
The first movie, like, the jokes are all written about these specific scenarios and these characters in these situations. So it's funny because of that. And then the second movie comes along and they're like, okay, well, the same thing again, basically.
It's this joke
also
again,
funny.
yeah.
Yeah. And Tyler, you kind of have made like an interesting point here. Is you've been quoting the original.
Yeah.
What quotes would you throw out from Dumb and Dumberer?
From Dumb and Dumberer.
Yeah.
There's shit everywhere.
The shit, yeah. I think about that scene a lot. Like, did
that's
he
the
just,
only
like,
that's
go
the
on a
quote I
tirade,
think
just
of.
yelling shit like constantly?
Yeah,
that's what his
the quote
character
I
did.
think of.
The first quote is a quote that's not uttered by either of the two main characters. Got it?
Nope.
Yep.
Any others?
Anything
that Harry
Milk
or
Bubbles.
Lloyd
Milk
says?
Bubbles was pretty good.
Milk Bubbles was
Milk
pretty good. I'm
Bubbles
going to use that from now on.
And
I'm going to use Milk Bubbles from now on.
But there were some like genuine moments of humor that maybe weren't like the best thing in the world,
it wasn't entirely unfunny,
Like that scene where he's standing at the door and like we're just seeing one side of kind of like a two-shot thing going on, where he's like he's like pantomiming knocking on the door, and we think that he's like psyching himself up to knock on the door, but she's already answered and standing in front of him. That was pretty funny.
Yes, agreed.
There's some moments in there where it's like some good comedy.
It got some good chuckles out of me.
And then I think there's a lot more of just kind of laughing at not that the performance is bad, but just like weird, or it's clear that they just let these actors like get really weird with the takes, and the director was not super specific on how it needed to go down, just that they said the lines.
Right.
Did you get the feeling that like a lot of this was like one scene was clearly put together from many different takes?
Yeah, well, I think there was an element of improv in it.
Probably.
Which I think the end credits kind of showed us too with the blooper reel. Could see that they were kind of trying things.
Well, yeah, they had that montage in the movie too, though. There's that montage where he's like reminiscing about him and his friend, and they just
stuff that
didn't show up.
Was
in the
never
movie.
in the movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there is an element of improv which can make for a choppy edit, right? If they're putting multiple takes together.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that is like almost necessary in a movie like this, where you have two actors playing like legacy characters, kind of that have already been pre-established by somebody else. You kind of need a little bit of improv, or like room for them to kind of just like pretend to be the other person.
Right, play around a little bit.
Maybe a little bit more or a little bit less between takes, so that because it's a fine line to walk. If this was something that maybe was like a bit more beloved than Dumb and Dumber, because it's not like that's fucking Citizen Kane or Gone with the Wind or something, but
yeah,
it's a beloved '90s comedy though.
It definitely is like a beloved comedy, but it's not one of the greatest greats. But
it's definitely like if you're talking '90s comedies, like those '90s Jim Carrey movies are in there with those '90s Sandler movies and the '90s Farley movies, and you know what I mean.
Yeah, I can think of plenty of examples of like those really big name movies where, what if like 8 to 10 years down the line, they're like, hey, we're making another one, but the person that originally played this character is not in it whatsoever.
Right.
Like if they made like a Big Daddy or a Waterboy sequel with not Adam Sandler, but somebody else playing that character. That person would basically just be giving like an Adam Sandler performance. It wouldn't be like Bobby Boucher and a like character study of like, okay, who is this person and how can I portray this? It's more of just like, how do I be Adam Sandler?
Well, that was one of those things where it's like they really wanted like a bunch of sequels to those Jim Carrey movies, but he like never did them.
Yeah.
Like the only ones he ever did, like in a timely manner. Obviously, he went back to Dumb and Dumber later. But like
need that cash.
But
yeah,
like,
which
yeah,
is
but
interesting.
like
I never
after
saw
they
that
came
one.
out, he did me either. But like yeah, Dumb and Dumber 2 TOO.
Yep.
It was they, but he did, they wanted to do a sequel to Dumb and Dumber, so they end up doing this. They wanted to do a sequel to The Mask, so they ended up doing fucking, was it Son of the Mask or whatever,
Jamie Kennedy.
with fucking Jamie Kennedy. They wanted to do Ace Ventura, and they didn't. They was it?
Yeah, they did
was that a
Nature
direct-
Calls.
well, I mean, after that, there was a
Junior?
direct to like video like young Ace Ventura movie
Mhm.
that came out.
I think
too.
there was maybe more than one of those even. They had the cartoon and stuff. But
Cartoon was at least kind of simultaneous. Same with like the Mask cartoon. Remember
Yeah.
when those crossed over? That was
or when
funny.
they had the Beetlejuice cartoon.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that cartoon.
It's like we just got to strike while the iron is hot on this hot IP.
It got me.
Yeah.
I was sucked
They
into
had a
that
Men in
show.
Black cartoon. You remember that?
Yep, Men in Black, the Godzilla cartoon from the Matthew
Yep,
Broderick movie.
Yep. Yeah, dude, all sorts of shit like that. But yeah, Carrie never, because was Ace Ventura, was that like early? Like
In
Jim
his
Carrey?
like movie career.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was
of the
he was
movies.
I
just
think so,
finishing
yeah.
Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah. So it makes sense maybe that he did the Ace Ventura sequel, but then like after the other ones, then he was just like, I don't want to do any more sequels. And then fucking yeah, I don't know.
I guess for him that makes sense because he plays these really big characters and like
Yeah.
even no matter how good, unless I guess it depends on the kind of character. It's different for comedy, I suppose, because it's that same type of thing. It's like how many scenarios realistically is this character funny in? How many
right.
unique things can we put this character through that people haven't already seen? That's still going to be
Like
fun.
we said, it's specifically comedies work because of the situation, right? And the humor around the situation. So it's like, how are you gonna do something unique with?
I guess I would be curious, like, what they expected Ace Ventura to do and how it actually did, because, like...
It's a good noir. I love it.
Well, I bet I like the movie. I love that sequel. I actually prefer it over the original, but, like...
Me too.
I kind of imagine people did go to theaters to see it because that wasn't, like, the norm back in the day, that you just expected sequels.
Right. Yeah.
And Jim Carrey was still like big and fresh enough that when the sequel came out, people wanted to go see his performance just regardless of the movie. So that probably helped it. But like, that would totally be something these days that would come out and probably not do very well. And he probably would recognize like, okay, if I just do sequels, I'm not going to get as much as if I just standalone stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to fucking 1994, dude. Was fucking Ace Ventura, The Mask, and Dumb and Dumber. They all came out in 1994.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew that.
And then when
For
Nature Calls came out in 95.
Mm-hmm.
Along with
soon
Batman.
after.
Along with Batman Forever.
So he was
And then
just consistently
Cable Guy
busy
was
then.
96. Yeah, Liar was 97. Simon
Truman
Birch
Show was probably-
Truman Show was 98.
Bangers.
Man on
Yeah.
the Moon was 99.
Banger.
2000
got a
was Me,
great
Myself,
career.
and Irene and How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Bangers.
But that's probably, I would credit
2001
his,
was The Majestic.
like,
fucking-
some of that to his choice to not doing sequels.
The longest break between movies in that time frame is between The Grinch and The Majestic and Bruce Almighty, which was 2 years. Otherwise, all those movies were like every year.
He's still rocking it
We
with
just had-
Sonic.
We just
Yeah.
had Jim Carrey like all the time, year after year. That's crazy.
It's insane.
And,
Good for him.
Eternal Sunshine.
Yep.
Yeah.
Some great stuff.
He is.
Drama.
Yeah.
The number 23.
Oh, yeah.
Number 23. Yeah, Eternal. So after The Majestic was Bruce Almighty in 2003. 2004 was Eternal Sunshine and A Series of Unfortunate Events.
Cool.
And then 2005 was Fun with Dick and Jane. 2007 was number 23. 2008 was Horton Hears a Who and Yes Man.
Mr. Popper's Penguin somewhere.
2009 was I Love You, Philip Morris and A Christmas Carol. 2011 was Mr. Popper's Penguins. In 2003 was The Incredible Burt Wonderstone, Kick-Ass 2, and then he had a cameo in Anchorman 2. Then 2014 was Dumb and Dumber 2. Yeah, it goes on, But like, he fucking.
There was.
It seemed like for a long time he just wasn't in movies, but he was in movies consistently, like that whole time, and like not unknown movies. They might not have been as successful, but like they were known movies.
Sure.
He just didn't have his big like Jim Carrey vehicle movies.
Yeah, I
For
think
the
his
most part,
last
he didn't have those like really big ones.
I think his last like big comedy, like one that is like universally like loved, is probably The Grinch. Probably the last one.
You said that came out really close to Bruce Almighty?
2000. Bruce Almighty was 2003, but I wouldn't say that's like a hugely loved one.
Not hugely loved, but probably like widely recognized as maybe one of the more.
Yeah, it's definitely one. It's definitely like one on the list of like not bad ones. Like it's not a bad movie, but like one that people still will go back to and watch. I think The Grinch is probably, as far as comedies go.
No, there's a YouTube video of Jim Carrey just improving as like 3 or 4 of his different series of unfortunate events.
Oh, really?
Like it's just camera test stuff basically.
Yeah.
But he's like in costume as 3 or 4 of the characters that Count Olaf poses as, and he's just riffing. Like the director is just standing off camera, just talking to him, and you're just mainly hearing Jim Carrey improv as these characters, and it's really, really funny.
Yeah,
shit, dude!
He did cameos in The Office too.
In what?
Yeah,
The Office. He was one of the.
Yeah, I wasn't going through TVs, and I kind of skipped a couple.
He was in Kick-Ass 2.
Yep. So apparently there's a third Ace Ventura in development right now.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, it's a joint venture with Warner Brothers, Morgan Creek Entertainment, Amazon Studios, and Prime Original Films, with plans to be released simultaneously theatrically and streaming.
Interesting.
In August of 2021, Carey confirmed his involvement and stated he was more than ready for the next chapter.
If he walks like he does in the movies, I'm gonna be so happy. I love that strut.
Good for him.
That's the best walk in any character.
Yeah, I think he, like, I mean, don't get me wrong, you shouldn't always just cater to what your fans want, but like,
well, no, you
should do things. You should do things you want to actually do. But like, I think he's kind of like, maybe he wasn't in a spot to do like goofy shit for a while, but I think he's getting back to it because he's pretty goofy in the Sonic movies.
I think maybe that was some of the start of him like returning to being like, you know what, maybe I am ready to do kind of strictly more goofy stuff, because that was I mean, I really liked him in Sonic, and
yeah, I did too. Outside of his like purposefully like really serious movies, there's always an element of goofiness in his stuff, but like it's been a while since he's been outright just fucking real goofy like he was in Sonic. That's why like one of the reasons I enjoyed Sonic so much was like, yeah, I got goofy ass Jim Carrey back.
Yeah. And I'm sure that
he looks to be just as goofy in the sequel.
Yep. Oh, if not more so.
Let's quick touch on some of the connecting threads from our previous Detroit Rock City. The most notable is the short bus driver is the mom of Mimisiku.
Yeah. Of the pee pee poo poo, dude. We didn't even know that.
I think the pee pee poo poo was a great connection too, by the way, Wilson. I don't know if you meant that intentionally.
There's poo poo too.
There's a lot of poo poo.
I did not remember that, but I I mean, I was just as surprised as you guys
Unintentional.
to see that in there.
Unintentional connections, dude.
No,
That's great.
honestly, my connection was honestly just like,
Friendship.
Detroit Rock City has always just felt like a good friendship movie to me, more than anything,
Yeah.
more than Kiss, more than like, because do they live in Detroit or do they live like outside
No.
of Detroit?
They live in like fucking Ohio or some shit like that. Just
Yeah, so I mean, it's
Iowa,
kind of
something
like a
south
road
of
trip
Detroit,
movie,
south of Michigan.
but the movie's not about their trip. It's about like the four of these guys basically like doing this thing together, and it just made me feel like this movie, even if they don't really
Yeah,
know
Cleveland,
what
Ohio.
they're doing.
Yeah,
This movie is about two guys trying to do something together. Because what Harry and Lloyd are trying to do is they're trying to find a fucking treasure chest that doesn't exist for Harry's imaginary friend. Like that's their
yep.
like motive in this movie. It's not to stop Principal Collins or do anything else. It's just to find this fucking treasure chest,
Right.
which isn't possible for that to happen. So the rest of the movie needs to happen to actually have something happen in this movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, any other final words about the movie before we wrap it up?
I think it's a good, like, for me, it's a guilty pleasure movie. I don't watch it often, but if I'm ever just feeling like watching something and having a chuckle, I might throw it on.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's if the well's kind of dry. So I think if you haven't seen it, maybe it's a good like rainy day movie. If you're like having a rainy day at the lake and you have to stay inside, you could put this on.
Sure. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Right.
But other than that, I don't really know what worth you find here.
It's true.
All right.
It's true.
Well, with that
All right.
said,
What about you guys? Do either of you have any final thoughts?
Last time I watched this, I don't know, I maybe spaced out a lot of it. Maybe chuckled a few times, but honestly, I was like, well, these aren't my Harry and Lloyd that I know from the original, so I was already disconnected.
Yeah.
So maybe I wasn't in the right frame of mind to watch it. I just
I
kept
think-
thinking, I'm just paying attention to his choices that, he stole from Jim Carrey. He's just trying to evoke that.
Yeah,
Like I
it
said-
kind of feels that way a lot of the time.
Well, yeah, it's one of those things where if you're purposefully trying to, you can't play a character someone else played without at least trying to like be somewhat like them, Especially one as like over the top as Harry is or as Lloyd is,
Mhm.
and Harry
Yeah.
too. I mean, they have their eccentricities obviously because that's part of the characters, and you have to kind of at least try to mimic some of those, right? Or else it's not going to read as a younger version of that character,
Yeah. So is that
Yeah,
all
but-
you got to say about it?
But yeah, I enjoyed it. That's what I think.
I think they're only over the top, especially Lloyd, just because it is Jim Carrey.
Yeah, exactly. You have to. You're trying to portray someone originally portrayed by someone with a stupid amount of energy that like just throws its complete self into something. So it's like you gotta fucking go for it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoyed it. Is my final words. I enjoyed it. I would. I mean, if you're looking for something to just fucking throw on and just have silly goose time and just kind of chill, this isn't a bad
Silly
option.
goose time.
It's all right. I mean,
Yeah, at least-
are you
at least watch it
missing
once.
out on something by not watching it? Not necessarily,
Right.
but if you watch it, you're not gonna hate your life. You can have some fun with it. You can have some fun with it.
You're gonna have a good time.
Yeah.
Well, with that said, it's a great place to end.
Tyler, you're up next.
I am. I got to think about this one. Might take me a little time, but yeah.
I like that though, because then
dig.
it gives you something to fucking figure out.
Yeah, and I'll definitely try to find something none of you guys have watched.
Okay.
All right.
So yeah, we'll be back with more in the future. Yeah, who knows what's in store for us next?
Who knows?
So
Who knows?
Stay tuned for more.
Who knows?
Hopefully, I don't tank it.
Hell
We've
yeah.
gotten this far.
Yeah. I mean,
I think we're still a ways off from tanking anything.
yeah. That's,
Oh, yeah, dude,
that's
I don't think we tanked
serendipitous.
yet.
You know, Mimi Siku's mom. That's great. You can't
That's
even,
fucking, yeah.
you can't script
That's
that.
perfect.
All right, bye guys.
Every day I get the cue. Me, Siku.
Mimi.
Boo boo.
You know what, Harry? This whole experience has soured me on women forever.
Yeah, we should never let a woman come between us again.
Well, that's not gonna happen. I mean, we learned a very valuable lesson here, Harry. We're not ever gonna forget that.
Yeah.
Excuse us. You're Harry and Lloyd, right?
Actually, I'm Harry and he's Lloyd.
Wait.
Well, we're the Felchers. My name's Freda, and this is Rita. Hi, boys.
Hi.
We're gonna go check out the all-girls college. Do you guys want to come?
Sure.
No, wait, Harry, come on. Just listen, we gotta figure out who gets who, all right? No more competition.
Right.
Okay, so, pick one.
The one on the left. What's wrong?
It's the one that I want.
Yeah. She's one of a kind.
Try 1 in a million.
What should we do?
You take it.
No, Lloyd, I'm not gonna do that to you.
It's okay, Harry. I'll find somebody.
I'm not doing it. Remember, chicks are for facts.
What happened, Harry? Some little filly break your heart?
No, it was a girl. Breda Belcher. I stayed in a place just like this. One that's classy, but, you know, nice.
Felcher?
We're the Felchers. My name's Freda, and this is Rita.
From Cranston? Yeah, you know her? Oh, yeah. I mean, I remember you talking about her. We had the most incredibly romantic time. I thought we were going to be together forever. And then, about a week later, right out of the blue, she sends me a John Deere letter. She give you any reason? Yeah, I called her up. She gave me a bunch of crap about me not listening to her enough or something. I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention.